Today we are discussing one important philosopher, Sartre. His philosophy is known as existentialism. This is basically is drawn from phenomenology. Kant's phenomenology. Existentialism. And from this is drawn Leong's theories of divided self. The thread is that Kant proposed that reality is a matter of construct. The outside world is constructed by our senses and by our mind in a particular way. Thing in itself is different. It's really shocking because people always believed that reality existed as it is and we're only trying to figure out. And we're trying to discover its laws, but Kant said it is essentially unknowable because it is a construct and we don't know what it is in itself. So the idea that something is being constructed is applied by Sartre in psychological field. Sartre proposed that self is a matter of construct. Self is a matter of construct. What does it mean? See, what we think we are is made up by ourselves. Self was not there before. See, let me tell you, this idea self is a matter of construct shouldn't be surprising at all to anyone who is familiar with Indian philosophy. Because Indian philosophy posited that self is a matter of construct and there is an unreality about it and it should be got rid of. But then to Sartre and other Western philosophers, that is not a familiar idea. So the idea that self is a matter of construct was a very bold and provocative idea to Sartre's contemporaries in France. So he was saying self is a matter of construct, which means that there is no one already inside. So no essence before. No essence. You know, the idea of essence was there in the Western philosophy. For example, Aristotle believed that this essence had to be realized. Essence had to be realized. But Sartre is saying that there was nothing like essence before. There was nothing. Man is giving shape to self. So he said it is the existence precedes essence. existence precedes essence. So there was nothing prior to essence. There was nothing, no shape. But then we give shape to it and bring essence. And it means that because we are what we are making out of ourselves and there are no constraints before us, to Sartre and others, this is a matter of freedom. Because there was no essence prior to existence and we should give that essence, it means we are free to construct the way we want to construct. And that self is constructed through the choices that we make. We are free in an infinitely potential ways to chalk out our lives, because there is nothing like essence in us that determines us, that bounds us to particular outcomes. And of course, Nietzsche happened before Sartre, who by Nietzsche time it was made clear that God is dead. So there is no one who is determining and judging our actions after death, because God is no more. And there is no essence in the sense that essence, nothing predetermined with or without God. So there is no God and there is no essence. So it means that man is completely free. Free to do whatever one wants to do, free to be free of customs, free to think innovatively. And in the most vulnerable and tragic circumstances, man has this freedom to chalk out his own life, to succumb to pressure or to defy it, or to be a Socrates, or to be a Hitler. So this is a pursuit of freedom. It's a road to freedom, because essentially you are what you can be and what you are making out of. So existence precedes essence. This in essence is Sartre's philosophy. So it shouldn't be surprising for people who are familiar with Indian philosophy. But then Sartre, using this kind of understanding, wrote many plays, and they were very popular, that discuss the dynamics of self. One such famous play was No Exit. Three people, one man and two women, are placed in a room in a hell after their death. All three were expecting a tormentor, but tormentor didn't come. And they were discussing their life on earth, and they get into conflict and they find others' company unbearable. And so they realize that the hell is not created by a tormentor, but hell is other people. Hell is other people. So how is it linked to the idea that self is construct? People have a self-image of themselves, and they want others to be accepted according to their self-image. And when others don't accept, they struggle to seek that acceptance. Man wants to, in this case, man wants to get out of the room, but it is bolted. But then in some other, at some other time, he sees that room is open, door is open, but he doesn't leave. Do you know why? It is because he was hurt by a woman's remark, and he thought that he should prove his point and about the way he lived his life, and he should convince her and without convince her, he can't leave the room. So I think it probably shows that we construct an image and we want others to accept it, and in trying for that, we create hell for ourselves. So in a way we are denying ourselves possibility of greater freedom because we are tied to our images. Probing deeper, Sartre also asks, how is this self constructed? I think he sees that self is not really independently constructed. It is through reactions, through others' remarks and judgments. And so we base our image and self through this, and so that maybe that is why we are not completely free from others' judgment, because the self is not constructed quite independently. So Sartre's place can be interpreted in variety of ways. In another play, like in that The Condemned of Altona, one man is responsible for murder of many Jews. So this guilt prevents him from having a decent image of himself, and finally commits suicide. So Sartre's place can be looked at as the ways by which the self is being constructed, and through so how self is being constructed. So in a way it can be shown how self is bonded, not simply how self is free. And the constructions of self can be very wrong, and they can be put individuals on misleading paths. It is these things that Lyon works out in his books.